So now we're on to part B. Part B is all about this cool little tool called extract values to points. As the name indicates, it takes values from an underlying raster and extracts them to certain points in a point shapefile. Another way of thinking about this is that this tool adds raster values to your point attribute table. So no longer do you have to look at your data and input, you can imagine with edit mode, right? Start a new column and then start squinting back and forth as you looked at topography and land ownership and say, okay, what's this pixel value? What's that pixel value? No longer do we have to do that. We do need our point data in here first. This is cheatgrass data. Cheatgrass is an invasive species in the US West, and these points are all where cheatgrass has been found. Yes, really found in really real Nevada. It is a real place, I promise. So all these points have cheatgrass. And wouldn't it be interesting, wouldn't it be nice if we could connect this elevation data to maybe try and understand some relationship between the landscape and this grass, this species here, the relationship of landscapes, of topography, of the planet to living things. It's called biogeography, a very fun field to work in. So maybe if you kind of squint, you can see, oh, well, maybe it kind of looks like there's some relationship, maybe low elevations, cheatgrass likes, but I can't be sure of that. So let's get some data. As I said, this is called extract values to points. So I'm going to look that up. Extract values to points. There it is. Really straightforward. We like it when our tools are quick and easy. Point features are points. Raster are raster. Name, an easy name for us to decide. Let's call it cheatgrass elevation. There we go. That looks pretty good. And if we could see that, there it is, see the file name there. We don't need to choose any of these optional options. We don't need all of the raster attributes, and we don't need to interpolate. We'll talk about interpolating later, though. We're going to hit run on that. And you get a new shape file out of this. So an important thing to remember, we're always keeping track. How many new shape files do we have? Well, in this case, we have our original cheatgrass that's in the little green dot here, but in our new cheatgrass in the brown dot, if we look at the attribute table, we would see, oh, hey, look at that. We got raster values. Now, you know, I think the only downside of this tool is that the field is called raster value, not the most descriptive thing in the world. If you were doing this multiple times, then you would want to rename these fields so you didn't have raster value and raster val 1 and raster val 2 and so on and so forth, right? We're staying in control of our data and our information. From here, we can do any kind of statistics or any kind of data looking that we might want to. We have certainly right-clicked on a field and gone to statistics before. Get some information about the distribution of the data, of the distribution of the information there. Oh, there's the mean value. It looks kind of normally, I guess. Another thing you can do is right-click on a layer and then create a chart. Look at all these cool charts you can make. You can make a scatter plot or a QQ plot, or in this case, a histogram. What variable do I want? I want my raster value. There we go. Well, it's already, hey, look, that's the same chart we just made, but with more options. That's pretty cool. Let's see what a normal distribution looks like. That looks kind of normal to me. What would happen if we transformed it with a logarithmic? That's probably not right. All right, so don't play with any statistics above your pay grade, but extracting values to points, combination with some pretty cool charting and graphing tools, gives you some pretty neat powers to be able to explore your data. Oh, look, we could export this as a graphic. That'd look pretty good in a report, I bet. Impress your friends and supervisors with some neat GIS capacities. That's extract values to points. Pretty cool, pretty straightforward, pretty fun. We're going to create some random points next. In the create random points video, I'll double check that you made your square. Don't forget about making your square at the end of part B there. See you on the part C side.